Go now. Hello, book lovers, and welcome to Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Perkins, and today I'm talking to Guy Singer. Guy is the author of the Cambodian Innocence series, all of which are set in Siem and Phnom Penh, Cambodia. He has also published books in the contemporary and science fiction genres, the most recent being Starboy, a coming-of-age science fiction novel. Guy has recently completed a revised and professional edit of his first Cambodian Innocence books. Hello, Guy. Thank you for coming back on Book Talk Radio Club.
Hello, Claire. Nice to be back.
As I just said, you've completed a revision and professional edit of your first Cambodian Innocence books. What was the decision behind this?
A local friend asked me about the book, so I ordered them a copy. However, before handing it over, I read a small section and was horrified by the grammatical and the all-round bad writing.
Right.
My style has matured so much over these last 4 years since it was published that I was frankly ashamed even to give the book away.
Oh dear. So how important is a professional edit? I mean, many self-published authors read through their books and believe they've noticed and amended any mistakes. What difference does a professional edit make?
Well, first of all, no matter how many times you read it through, you will miss mistakes. And secondly, our knowledge is not perfect. One has to bear in mind there are different levels of editing.
Right.
A line edit is basically little more than a proofread, and it picks up typos and simple errors. Whereas a full edit looks at the grammar, the style, plot holes, and it depends on the lengths one wishes to go to, how deep an edit one takes.
Right.
I took a halfway approach, asking my editor to line edit, proofread, but also advise on the readability of the book.
Oh, that's interesting. Perhaps you'd like to read an unedited paragraph from Cambodian Innocence and then the professionally edited version. It'll be interesting to hear the difference.
Yes, I've got two short sections. I'll follow one after the other.
Lovely.
So the unedited version goes like this. Fred Mackenzie's son, Logan, was only 12 and an only child. The family lived in a luxury townhouse in the smart part of Islington in London. For this year's summer holiday, Fred, in his usual uber-efficient way, organised a trip to Southeast Asia. After 3 nights in Bangkok and a night in the Thai countryside, they were going to Cambodia, and then after 2 weeks there to Vietnam. And the revised section, I believe, is a lot clearer. Fred Mackenzie's son, Logan, was only 12. Sorry, start again. Fred Mackenzie's son, Logan, was 12 and an only child. The family lived in a luxury townhouse in the fashionable part of Islington in London. For this year's summer holiday, Fred, in his usual uber-efficient way, organised a trip to Southeast Asia. After 3 nights in Bangkok and a night in the Thai countryside, they were going to spend a week in Cambodia, followed by a fortnight in Vietnam. And that shows exactly the error of trying to self-edit. You read what you think it says.
Exactly.
Not what it actually says.
Absolutely. And it's smoother as well. It just trips off the tongue easier.
Yes, it does.
So you haven't... carry on.
The other thing before we go on, I did, on the original books, I self-designed the covers.
Right.
And to be honest, they were terrible.
They weren't that bad.
Well, they weren't that good. But on the second edit, I've got professionally designed covers going on, and they're much more eye-catching, I believe, anyway.
Right. So you're having an editing frenzy. Does this mean you're updating all of your books with a professional edit?
My later books were professionally edited,
right.
So I won't bother with those, as there's very little I would change.
Yeah.
However, the early ones will get rewritten and then professionally cleaned up. But it's not quick. Currently, I have 14 books out.
Wow.
And it takes a couple of months of my work before handing them over to my editor to get them ready.
Sure.
So there's probably about a year's work in cleaning up my past books.
You have 3 books in the Cambodian Innocence series. What is the series about?
In a nutshell, they look at 12-year-old, 13-year-old youngsters
Hmm.
and the difficulties they face in Cambodia. They're coming-of-age stories, quite gritty, as I tend to write. The first one deals with quite an uncomfortable subject of sex trafficking,
Hmm.
and then later ones look at scams, deceits, and things that are not actually going quite right in Cambodia at the moment.
Right. So can I ask you, how did you find a professional editor? I'm sure many of Book Talk Radio Club's author listeners would like to know.
Sure. The first thing I got was an add-on to my Word, which was Grammarly.
Right.
So that cleaned it up a great deal. But then I found my editor on Facebook. However, I would caution people and say, try to find out a book that they've already edited. Have a read of that, see whether you like the style, and then suggest they do a few sample pages for you, because one editor slammed Starboy and the next one loved it.
Interesting, isn't it?
So there's a great deal of personal opinion from the editor whether the book is right for them. And remember too that one gets what one pays for.
Yeah.
There are a few trainee editors who offer to do your work for free, and that of course is better than nothing, but you won't get a very good edit. So my advice would be pay as much as you can afford.
Yeah. Yeah. And would you say it would be good to find an editor who, I don't know, not specialises, but is used to reading the genre or editing the genre that the author writes? Would that help as well?
Yes, definitely. That's why I said ask the editor for a list of books that they have covered.
Yeah.
And do try a few sample pages, because if the editor doesn't like your genre or your style, you get a clean edit from them.
Right. Right. Now, you were saying before that you've got all these books. You reckon it's going to take you about a year to have them all already, but it's extreme. How long does each process take? Me for each book, on average, for your books?
Bear in mind they're already written, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel, as they say.
Yeah.
But it takes me about 2 months to revise it, clean it up, and I always edit it and proof it a couple of times myself.
Yeah.
Then the editor generally turns my books round in about a month.
Oh, so it's not too long.
So we're not talking about huge time, no.
Right. You published the Cambodian Innocence series 4 years ago. How has your writing style changed over the years?
Basically, it's matured. My English is a great deal tighter. I'm also conscious of things that I used to do where I wasn't getting points of view very clear. I was doing what we call head hopping, writing from different persons' points of views at the same time.
Okay.
And I've cut all that out. As I say, it's a much tighter style now.
I understand you'll be publishing Alien DNA this summer. Would you like to give a brief synopsis of the story?
Sure. I think before we go any further, I should say that I'll probably be changing the title before it gets published.
Okay.
Its current subtitle is, and in inverted commas, "And Then the Murders Began." There's a fellow called Mark Laidlaw who said that any book's opening passage can be made more interesting by adding "and then the murders began" after the first sentence. So Dorothy lived in the midst of the great Kansas prairies with Toto, her dog, and then the murders began.
Mm-hmm.
The book itself is about a group of 15-year-olds in Floxton Grammar boarding school at the end of their GCSE term. It opens with the very first murder, which is halfway through the first chapter, and follows the boys and the girls that they become attached to as one by one the people die.
Right. Right. Interesting. Yes, I can see why Alien DNA really wouldn't be the best title for that.
It does link in, believe me, and if I made it a subtitle, it would probably work.
Right.
Titles are something I put on working documents, and I probably will change this one.
Right. Just to give you an idea, yes?
Yes, yeah.
I see reading from your blog, you experienced a massive case of writer's block towards the end of 2017. You've obviously overcome it, but how?
Well, mainly by not worrying about it.
Yeah.
I write when I feel like it.
Right.
I had a big change of living styles moving from Cambodia to the UK,
Mm.
and I've taken up other hobbies, all of which have absorbed my spare time.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing is not to sweat it. I'm just waiting, or I just waited until the mood took me, and then I started writing again. Although some people say, just write and you'll get over the block,
Yeah.
I find that my writing is not by any means at its best if I'm not in the mood for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't force it. It's just not going to happen. It comes out stilted. I think so many self-published authors have self-imposed pressure on themselves to try. I've got to do so many words a day. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. If it's not going to come, you're just going to cause more and more problems, and then experience writer's block, and then you're going to worry about it. Which it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. Now go and clean the house, walk the dog, enjoy the sunshine, get on with the rest of your life, and when you're back in the mood again,
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
There's always the possibility, and although I hate to say this, that the book might not be right for you.
Exactly.
And I do have 2 books in my repertoire, which I've given up halfway through.
Right. Yeah.
They just weren't working, they just weren't right, so I gave in.
Yeah. If it's not flowing, try something else.
Yes, indeed.
What is the most important advice you would give to someone starting out on the road to writing and publishing a book?
Basically, enjoy it.
That's good
For
advice.
most of us, it's a hobby or a vocation, and it's meant to be fun.
Yeah.
The day you think, as you just said, the day you think you have to write 1,000 words today or 2,000 words today, say you're doing it to earn money, that's the point where you'll never get anywhere.
Yep.
Enjoy it, do your best, and at the end of it, you can have the satisfaction of seeing your name in print, and you'll have a good product at the end.
That's lovely. All right, well, thank you, Guy. That was so interesting. Please come back on Book Talk Radio Club when you've published Alien DNA, or whatever you're going to call it. I'd love to chat with you and hear more. In the meantime, good luck for the future, and thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Radio Club. Thank you, Guy.
Thank you very much, Claire.